On the morning of August 6th, 1945, the city of Hiroshima in Japan woke up like any ordinary summer day. The sky was clear, and the streets slowly filled with life. Children walked to school with their friends, shopkeepers lifted the shutters of their stores, and workers hurried through the city to begin another day. Even though the world was still engulfed in the chaos of World War II, Hiroshima had remained strangely untouched. Other cities across Japan had already been devastated by bombing raids. Entire sections of Tokyo had been burned to the ground. But Hiroshima still stood, its buildings intact, and its streets alive with activity. Many residents believed their city had somehow been spared. Some thought the surrounding mountains protected it. Others believed the enemy planned to capture the city rather than destroy it. But the real reason was far more terrifying. Hiroshima had been chosen for something the world had never seen before. It had been chosen as the target of a new weapon, one powerful enough to change history forever. Years earlier, far away in the United States, scientists had been working in deep secrecy on a project known as the Manhattan Project. Led by brilliant minds, including Robert Oppenheimer, researchers were racing to build a weapon unlike any that had ever existed. Instead of relying on traditional explosives, this weapon would unleash the energy hidden inside atoms themselves. When those atoms were split, they would release unimaginable power in a fraction of a second. The result would be a weapon capable of destroying an entire city. By the summer of 1945, that weapon was finally ready. The decision to use it was made by the President of the United States, Harry S. Truman. Japan was still fighting, and American leaders believed the bomb might force a quick end to the war. Several cities were considered as possible targets. Hiroshima was one of them. Late on the night of August 5th, 1945, a B-29 bomber lifted off from an airbase on Tinian Island in the Pacific Ocean. The aircraft had a name painted along its side, Enola Gay. Inside the plane was a single bomb unlike anything the world had ever seen. Its nickname was Little Boy. The plane was commanded by pilot Paul Tibbets. Their destination was Hiroshima. For hours, the bomber flew quietly across the Pacific toward Japan. As the aircraft approached the city early that morning, the skies remained clear. Below, the people of Hiroshima continued their normal routines, unaware of what was about to happen. At exactly 8:15 in the morning, the bomb was released. It fell silently through the sky toward the city below. For 43 seconds, it dropped through the air, unseen by most of the people beneath it. Then, about 600 meters above the ground, it detonated. In a single instant, the sky exploded into a blinding white flash. Survivors later described it as if the sun itself had suddenly fallen from the sky. Temperatures at the center of the blast reached millions of degrees. Anyone directly beneath the explosion vanished instantly. Buildings disintegrated in the heat. Concrete melted. Steel twisted and warped like paper. A massive shockwave ripped through the city at incredible speed, flattening homes, collapsing buildings, and shattering windows miles away. Within seconds, entire neighborhoods were wiped out. A huge fireball expanded across the sky, followed by a towering mushroom cloud that climbed high into the atmosphere. Within minutes, Hiroshima had been transformed into a wasteland. Fires erupted across the city as broken gas lines and burning debris ignited entire districts. Survivors staggered through the ruins in shock. Many had suffered terrible burns. Some had their clothing burned away by the intense heat. Others wandered through the destruction covered in ash and dust, desperately searching for family members who had vanished in the blast. Hospitals had been destroyed, and many doctors and nurses were among the dead. There were almost no medical supplies and almost no one left to treat the wounded. The once busy city had become a silent landscape of collapsed buildings, smoke, and flames. But the bomb had unleashed something even more terrifying than the explosion itself. It had released radiation, an invisible force that would continue harming people long after the blast had ended. In the days that followed, many survivors who had appeared uninjured began to fall mysteriously ill. Their hair started falling out. Their skin blistered. Some began bleeding internally. Doctors had never seen anything like it before. Entire families who had survived the explosion began dying from sickness that no one understood. The bomb had left behind an invisible poison that would haunt survivors for years and even decades. Just 3 days later, on August 9th, 1945, another atomic bomb was dropped on the city of Nagasaki. That weapon was known as Fat Man. The destruction was again catastrophic. Faced with the terrifying power of these new weapons, Japan's leaders realized the war could not continue. On August 15th, 1945, Emperor Hirohito addressed the nation and announced Japan's surrender, bringing an end to World War II. For many people around the world, the end of the war brought relief and celebration. But for the people of Hiroshima, the consequences would last for generations. By the end of 1945, it is estimated that more than 140,000 people had died as a result of the bombing and its aftermath. Entire families have been wiped out. Large parts of the city had to be rebuilt from nothing. Today, Hiroshima has been rebuilt into a modern and thriving city. But one haunting reminder of that day still stands. Near the center of the city is the skeletal remains of a building known as the Hiroshima Peace Memorial. The structure stood almost directly beneath the explosion and somehow survived the blast. Today, it remains preserved as a monument to the victims of that day. Every year, people from around the world visit the memorial to remember those who were lost and to reflect on the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The story of Hiroshima is not just the story of a city destroyed in war. It is the story of the moment humanity crossed a dangerous threshold. The moment we discovered that we had created weapons powerful enough to destroy entire cities in seconds. It remains one of the darkest chapters in human history, and a reminder of the responsibility that comes with such power.